This is Roger Struggle of the Cloud Expo TV at day two. Day two with the expo floor behind me at the 23rd International Cloud Expo in Santa Clara, California. And man, we've been talking about, all day long I've been talking, and I'm going to keep talking about a number of issues, and they all have to do with like taking care of stuff. Just taking care of stuff, securing it, handling it, managing it. Doesn't matter who's doing it or where. Suddenly people have woken up, I think. Cloud is no longer a new thing, and they're starting to really focus on their data and how do you take care of it. So we're joined by Chris Riley with Hostway. He's going to tell you a lot of stuff first. But before we get to the real deep stuff, talk a little bit about what's going on with the company merger and all that, and what are you doing today? How do you sit? All that.
Yeah, thanks very much. So Hostway merged in January, and it allowed us to bring expertise in not only the AWS side, but also the Azure side. So we doubled in size. That's not only our data center footprint across the world, but that's also the expertise that supports that, allowing us the experience and size to really compete not only with enterprise level offerings, but also the expertise to support it long term.
Okay, now Azure, hosting Hostway is going looking at that. Azure was something 5 years ago. I'll be honest, I'm remember Microsoft from the old days. I thought, man, nice try, but it's like a force now.
That's it. So hosting really put all their eggs in the AWS basket,
Okay.
and then when Hostway came along and said, hey, we're Azure based, boy, that marriage and that synergy just it truly was a perfect marriage.
What are some of the big? We're gonna talk about hybrid cloud here in a minute. But what are some of the sort of challenges that you're facing now with your customers and the growth and the things they're coming to you with and the things you're taking care of?
Yeah. So the cloud is already challenging enough, and it creates a complex model for organizations to manage. And then you turn around and you figure out that hybrid, that spend management becomes an element that creates that need for a hybrid environment.
Yeah.
That hybrid environment is super complex. So we've really differentiated ourselves with not only the DevOps and the support of that environment, but also the managed security services and then the compliance services that wrap kind of that cloud operations support model.
So there's some people watching live, and they've seen me for the last hour talk about different aspects of security. Now, we've been doing these interviews since the duration of Cloud Expo 10 years ago and in a prior incarnation before that. And every time, like some topic will come up. And then I may not really expect it. Security is one that's come up. I came here expecting to talk about other things, but everyone's talking about it. And I guess what is the world's waking up, where there's a lot more of it, or suddenly people know that data is something to be handled carefully?
Right. So with the CISO hat on, you have to walk kind of a fine line between the security and the compliance. And GDPR has really put some teeth and starting to shine the light on that privacy requirement that so many organizations have been able to get through without the threat of heavy-duty penalties and or the damage to reputation. And so we're working a lot with organizations to not only foster their internal compliance program, but ultimately build their security program out from a holistic perspective.
And with hybrid, dig down a little bit, there's not only one hybrid just by the nature of this definition. What sort of hybrid cloud environments are you looking at?
Yeah, so you've got your on-prem, you've got your co-located facility, now you've got your public cloud and your private cloud, and those elements really then take your endpoints and shove them out to where your edge is no longer a true edge. Your data is being accessed by everyone, everywhere, and you turn around and that complexity, that access creates a challenge to not only secure, but do it in a compliance manner.
For those of you who heard my talk this morning, I mentioned how edge computing emerged a few years ago, and then suddenly so many people were saying, but I'm not at the edge. It's edgeless to me, even though it may look from some perspectives to be the edge. But to me, it's just like, it's just more complexity. I'm not going to even give it a specific name.
That's exactly it. It's hard to define where your perimeter exists, and the perimeter, the days of the castle mentality, or the perimeter as we know it from a firewall perspective, that's dead and gone. So we're having to secure those data flows at a whole different capacity and level.
Yeah, and you mentioned data flow. So much this time is real time or near real time going on, and that wasn't around X number of years ago.
Yeah, getting the visibility on where your differentiation of organizational information really is. It's concerning, and it's concerning for organizations. Nobody wants to be in the media on a breach conversation. At the same time, they're still trying to figure out the dynamics to get the funding and support to secure that.
So it's not getting less complex in the future. You can't really tell me what you're thinking X years down the road, but what are you thinking X years down the road?
So from a managed security service provider perspective, we bring the next step or the evolution to that, which is instead of dealing with service level agreements, we're dealing with guidance level agreements, or we refer to them as GLAs. And these GLAs allow us contractually to deal with spend management, to provide that guidance around security, compliance, or just more efficient operations. Those are done 4 times a year every quarter, and we do a minimum of 5 GLAs per contract, which allows us to help an organization not only mature their posture, but also put them on a roadmap that's sustainable and can create an evolution for them.
I mean, you could think of SLAs as sort of solving the challenges and meeting the objectives we had yesterday, but it doesn't really deal with the ongoing reality. But GLA is your way to address that.
It's table stakes, and for us, we love to depend on SLAs, and that gives us the framework to function. But more importantly, we want to partner with an organization that wants to be better tomorrow. And in order to do that, we bring our expertise and provide those guidance level agreements to them so that they can do that and enable that roadmap to transpire over the life cycle of our relationship, but more importantly, their business.
I learned something today. How are they going to find you? How do people find you online and social if you're out there?
Hosting, Hostway. Look us up, hosting.com, hostway.com. My name's Chris Riley. Thanks very much.
Oh, that's so cool. I'm gonna start using this GLA. I'm going to learn more. Thanks so much, and thanks for watching. For Cloud Expo TV, this is Roger Struckoff.